So we got the retrofit panels for the Dolores Hope building. So I guess install probably you already know about this, but I guess this is this this block here exists and it's kind of built in. So we're just going to be covering it with a new panel and removing these letters and putting our own letters up. So I kind of came up with this based on Jim's idea. So we'd have 5 separate panels that will kind of go over the existing piece. So supposedly it's surveyed at 2 3/4 thick by 24 high. So the idea here is I think we can get away with 2 by 2 by 3/16 angle, top and bottom. We'll just straddle the existing, that's in green here, the existing part. We'll just straddle it with bars, and then we'll come in with the panels over it, and we'll just come in, and we won't even drill holes or anything in the bars. You can just drill your own holes and then just self-tap it in, just frap it on top and bottom. If everything goes well, I'm leaving an 1/8 inch for accuracy here, so I think that should be okay. It should squeeze up fine. Kind of a side shot is this. We've got the outside piece there. That's the outside 090. We'll have some internal bracing that comes in at just over a 1/2 inch thick, and then we'll have the side pieces that will give us the reveals. And that kind of looks like this. So these will just be little bent pieces of angle. I believe that's 1.5 inches by 1/2, and we'll just lords those directly in, and that'll just sort of give a sort of a rigidity to the face somewhat. But because these are so thin, we don't have a lot of room for bracing. These will be kind of wobbly, but once you get them up there, they should be solid. And then the ends will just be welded in. But the ends need to have a big old notch in it in order to clear this birthday cake that's on the wall. So in order to leave as much meat on this and not make this stick out as much as possible, Jim already had this at 3 1/4, so I moved it to 3 1/2 just so we could have a little more room here. But I'm just leaving an 1/8 inch between the existing stucco face action and this right here, the actual bracing and everything. So hopefully that's enough. If anything, if it bonks against, that's good. It'll help support it. But that's kind of a needle we have to thread. So the way it kind of works is I've got a picture here. You can see where Jim's trying to break it up and make it look like here. This is the downtown, I think the O'Donnell building or whatever, but that Eisenhower building on the downtown. We did the same thing where we wanted to make our panels kind of look like the design structures here. So the way we did that is I'm just borrowing that. I bent up these pieces that had little flanges, and then they got riveted to the ends of each box that needed it. So the way it is here in black, you can see where this part here will just rivet on to the end of this box. And then when they get bonked together, that gives us our spacing. We have a 1/2 inch here, but in order to give us some throat, to give us some meat right here, this had to fall to closer to 5/16, if not 1/4 inch right here. You still get the idea, but in order you couldn't go a full 1/2 inch down because that just cuts too much. So it'll be more of a rectangle rather than a square. But I think the overall idea still gets it done. So for install, the way it kind of would work is we'd go ahead and do the top bars first. Just figure out do the math. Just figure out, however much is supposed to be from here to here, from the top, from there to there, and there to there, center it, however it's supposed to be. And then once you get your top bar figured out where it's supposed to be based on where it is from the birthday cake, the existing birthday cake, then just get your center bar started. And then what we'll do is we'll make a couple of these little disposable jacks. So what we'll do is we'll bring in this jack here, and once the top bar, so you'll get the top bar in, get it level, and then go ahead and get this bar level to that bar and go ahead and do all the top bars first and just level this one off to that one and level that one off to that one. The spacing we have here is 3 1/2 inches. map out. Let's see. Yeah, let me see. There we go. Yep. So what you'll do is just get them in there, and then we can just measure apart. Now the good thing about this is it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned, because you'll have room, because you're just going to be drilling your own holes. So once these bars are in place, they don't have to be perfectly apart from each other. We won't put holes in it or pre-drill anything. So once you get these top bars all set up, then you'll come in with these jacks. We'll just make a couple of these. That's all we need. And you'll go ahead and just hang it from the top bar, maybe even clamp it if you want. And then you'll just slide in the bottom piece there, and it'll just hold it in place. And that way we'll know that we'll be exactly where we need to be an 1/8 inch gap from here to here to get a nice perfect shoebox. And then this jack here will just hold this one in place, and then you can shoot screws as you see fit. And then you can just kind of work your way along. If you think we need 3, you know, we can make 3 of these and have one in the middle there. And so anyway, but you know, break a couple eggs to make an omelet, but that'll make things easier. These don't need to be perfectly aligned, because again, you can shoot your own screws as long as they're within somewhat of a spec of lining up, you know, as long as they're parallel to each other. So then you go ahead and get the tops and bottom bars all set. Then it's just a matter of getting this guy up there and get it lined up in the center. And so that'll be the first panel. You'll go ahead and screw it on there. You'll have an 8 on the bottom, like I said. And then this guy will already be attached. And then it's just a matter of bonking up the next one with the next one there, and just kind of bonking them together. And that's basically what we did there. You know, we got this one going, and we came in and put this one in and put that one in. And so it should be good enough to make it look like a completed section. And then you can just shoot your screws as you go. We can go ahead and put holes in this, in the 090 for the mounting, and then but there won't be any holes on this yet. And then you can just shoot your screws in as you see fit. So anyway, I think that'll be a good solution, and we should be good to go there. So the final question will be how we mount these letters. Obviously, we'll just shoot. We'll have studs. My question is to Jonathan, if it's worth putting all the holes on all these panels to start with, being that they'll be close. I mean, they should line up all nice. Jim was kind of thinking as well as myself, or do we just do a paper pattern for the whole thing? And once everything's in place, then treat it like a wall and just shoot your studs in, shoot your holes. That being said, some of these letters are going to be, well, all of them will be off of the existing birthday cake stucco part. So that's the green here. So you can kind of see where I think it will be best to just keep the studs within the stucco area and cram these into the stucco, and it'll kind of help mount this to the wall as well. Or do you see it being worthwhile having some studs out here kind of in nowhere land where they're just going to be shooting into nothingness? So I think, you know, like a stud here will just go into this void. So I imagine these will be stuck on with a little bit of silicone onto the face. But I think just keeping all the studs into where they go into the stucco will help. So just advise me on that, Jonathan and Jim, whatever you think on that, and that way when we lay these out. Or also, do we want to put stud holes in the faces of this, betting on that everything's going to line up, you know, top and bottom okay? Or do we just wait, do the whole panel, and then just do a paper pattern and do it on site? So advise on that as well to see. But I think this is a fairly good solution. So if you have any questions, hit me up.